Good morning, children of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Zion 185 coming at you. Well, this is a remake of a video I did uploaded recently. Seeing the video, weren't too satisfied with the quality, so I thought I might make another video, a new video following the old video. However, let's get into it. Before me on my screen there's an article called Are there lost Jewish tribes in Cameroon, on a website called Colano, right? I've had this article for a while now. If you go on one of my videos, you can hear me debating on a platform called Signs and Wonders, which I used the same article to prove that the 12 tribes of Israel are black. But, the naysayers on that platform, were predominantly white. One guy there was Jewish. And I asked a question to him, okay, if your people are the real Jews, then I'd like the migration route from the Middle East into Europe, into places like, for example, if the Ashkenazi Jews migrated from the Middle East to Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Hungary, Switzerland, all those European countries. He could not provide me with any evidence of such. But in this article, there is evidence that the 12 tribes of Israel are indeed Negroes. All 12 tribes of Israel are black people. They're not a mixed multitude. Latinos and Native Americans are not Israelites, and the Ashkenazi Jews are definitely not Israelites, right? The real Israelites are Negroes and Negroes only. The bulk of the Israelites are in Africa presently. Now, there's another video out there by Ghanaian rabbi. His name is Rabbi Akwete, and he stated that to prove one's Hebrew identity, we have to follow 3 criteria. Number 1 is in-depth knowledge of their migration routes and oral tradition. Number 2, customs and traditions which agree with their Torah, right? These are Hebrew customs which agree with the Torah that these Africans, so-called Africans, are practicing. Number 2, Hebrew names of cities, towns, villages, communities, landmarks, tribes, languages in Africa. And he also stated, which I do strongly agree with, that without the shadow of a doubt, no black person who was scattered all over the planet, for example, the Americas, the Caribbean, in the Arab world, the Far East, no person can trace their Hebrew ancestry without tracing their roots back to Africa, because the Hebrews, our ancestors have always sojourned in Africa, which I'm going to show you in this article. Okay, the website is called Colano. Okay, and it says, are there lost Jewish tribes in Cameroon? Well, are there lost Hebrew tribes in Cameroon? Yes, they are, because our people are not Jewish. We're the real Hebrews of the Bible. We are not Jewish. We are the Hebrews of the Bible. Okay. I'm going to read this article. Okay. Now, I've once been accused of reading from this biased website. Now, I say this to the naysayers. If this website is biased, then why would the Jews themselves publish this article on their website? Because this is a Jewish website. Right? This article was not published by anyone else. This article was published by Jewish people. Right? Okay? And here it says, according to the article, Rabbi Arel, his grandmother, Sabbath, no, not this part. Yes. Before I read the article, before I read Rabbi Arel's article, I have not give credence to the claims by local tribes of their Hebrew origin. And there are several, including the Baza, the Bemeliki, the Douala. I later heard about the Mulu in southwest region of Cameroon. The article encouraged us to investigate the claims. Okay? And here you see, what I did know is that many local tribes, including my own, Eton, had once observed rituals and customs similar to Jewish ones. The timeline of these put them before the arrival of Christian missionaries who had discouraged them, right? Let's move swiftly along, right? Now, this is the article, okay? The Baza tribe of Cameroon. This is what I want to read to the listening audience and the naysayers, okay? You could go and research this if you like. It's on this website, alright? That's the Baza tribe. This gentleman in the video, in the image, is called Frederick. His name is Frederick, and he's the tribe's leader, right? According to the article, it says that the Bazas, says that the name Baza in Bantu means conqueror, according to Frederick. The tribesman, the Baza tribesmen who were taught that they were Hebrews. In many parts of the world, tribes leaders are keepers of all oral tradition and language and history, which they impart throughout oral tradition. Frederick is one of his tribe's leader, right? Now we're going to read the history of this, okay? I'm going to read the history of the Baza tribe's migrational route from Egypt into Cameroon, okay? Now, this is the history. According to Frederick, the Bazas immigrated to Africa from Egypt thousands of years ago with their chief Melech, their chief, one of the great-grandsons of Judah. Keep that in mind, listening audience, please. Son of Jacob. The Bazas' oral tradition described Melech as a military chief in the Egyptian army who chose to stay behind to protect his privilege rather than follow the uncertain journey espoused by Moses. However, when Melech learned of the death of Pharaoh's army at the Red Sea, he feared that the Egyptians would take revenge against the Hebrews who remained behind. With the rest of the Israelites gone, Melech led his family and followers from Egypt. First, they went southward along the Nile, and then eventually westwards, crossed Nigeria, entered Cameroon. They eventually reached Nok Liptoba, their final destination. The Baza called God Elohim, the God of creation. According to oral tradition, it was God who spoke to Melech and directed him to Nok Liptoba. Right, here you see an image of the screen, Nok Liptoba Hill. Yep, this is where the Bazas landed when they first came into Cameroon, right? Throughout centuries, the hill of Nok-Liptoba served as the holiest place of the Baza people, the place where they used to gather once a year to perform sacrifices. They did this for centuries until the German priest arrived in Cameroon in 1844 and forbade the practices. Right? The community carried on their sacrifices in secret until the arrival of the French, who stopped them completely by putting to death anyone who was practicing their sacrifices. Right? According to their old tradition. Now, we're going to read about the rights and customs of the Baza. Here we have circumcision, right? Whenever possible, circumcision was performed on the 8th day after the birth of a son and was considered a festive event. If the tribe leader was not available, the tribe leader responsible for the circumcision was not available, uncircumcised children would gather together later between the ages 8 and 12 years and would be circumcised in a group ceremony on that same day. Alright? Family purity laws. When a woman was on her menstrual cycle, she would isolate herself for 8 days. During that period, she would not have intercourse with her husband and was not allowed to cook food for her family or do any kind of housework. Right? After the 8th day, she would perform purification and resume her normal life. Alright. Dietary laws. The Bazas did not eat meat forbidden in the Bible. They did not eat blood. And when they sacrificed an animal, they would dig a hole and let the blood flow into it and then cover it over. Right? In the Bible, it says when you slaughter an animal, you should cover it with dirt. Now, the day of rest. Bazas would work 6 days and rest on the 7th day, called, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this word, but however, it means the day of rest in the Bazas language. The 7th day was a special day with no agricultural work allowed. People stayed in their village, spent time rejoicing, eating, drinking, and dancing. The priest would pray to the Elohim. Right? That was the day of rest I just read for you. Now, calendar. The Bazas followed the lunar calendar. They would watch the moon and know when to celebrate the new month. Purification. Anyone who attended a funeral had to perform purification. A man had to perform purification after sex intercourse. Right? Purification consists of washing oneself with a plant called hyssop. Hyssop, I believe, is in Exodus 12. Yes, Exodus 12. And then immerse oneself in a river. It could be only one activity or both. Okay. Purification. Holidays. The most important Baza holiday was the Gasewe festival, the festival of purification, celebrated at the foot of Nok-Liptoba Hill, which took place once a year and sometimes between the 9th and 11th month. People came from all villages, brought animal sacrifices. Other holidays include the New Moon Festival and Harvest Festival. Right. Priests. The priests were the guardians of oral tradition, of tribal tradition, and ruled over the society. They played many roles. Some played judges, others performed rituals. Okay? Marriage. Marriage was arranged between families. The dowry brought by the man's family had include 70 items. The man who could not afford a dowry would work for the wife's family for an agreed period of time, after which he would receive his wife. The Bazas did not give their daughters to other tribes. They called uncircumcised. The only tribe they will give their daughters to marry was the Itan tribe. They believed are descendants from a brother of one of their descendants. Okay. Mourning. 5 days after burying a man and 4 days after burying a woman, there was a rite of separation that allowed the soul to leave the area and not wander about. Now, as I just read for you, ladies and gents, this is the oral tradition and customs and Hebrew customs of the Baza people of Cameroon. Now, my question is, if these people are not Israelites, why are they able to give evidence to support their claim? Because it clearly states in their history that they migrated from Egypt to Cameroon thousands of years ago. Also, they stated that Melech, their chief and their progenitor, was the great-grandson of Judah, son of Jacob. Alright? Said Melech was a chief in the Egyptian army. It's right there on the screen, ladies and gents. If the Baza people are not the real Hebrews of the Bible, why are they able to give this evidence? And if the Ashkenazi Jews are the real Hebrews of the Bible, why can't they produce evidence to show their migration route from the Middle East into Europe, into places like Lithuania, Poland, Germany? Right? Because this is where those countries were, you know, where the Jewish suffered their Holocaust. Right? Germany, Poland, Lithuania. So if these people are not if these so-called Africans are not the real Hebrews of the Bible, why are they able to give evidence of their oral history, right, stating that they migrated from Egypt to Cameroon? Because I uploaded a previous video about the Sefwe people of Ghana. They gave the same evidence of how their people migrated from the Middle East across the Sahara Desert and into Ghana, right? And there they've been performing their Hebrew customs and traditions until the Europeans arrived. So, to any of the naysayers, I ask you this question once again. If these so-called Africans are not Hebrews, how is it that they're able to give evidence of their migrational route from Egypt into Cameroon? Because not just the Baza people, the Bemeliki tribe also migrated from Egypt to Cameroon, right? But I will do research on the Bemeliki tribe later on, right? Also the Etan tribe, need to do research on them also, right? You also have the Igbos, who migrated, Eri, their ancestor migrated from Egypt to Nigeria, right? And in Psalms 105:23 says that the Hebrews have always sojourned in the land of Ham. Where's the land of Ham, ladies and gents? The land of Ham is Africa, right? Because it said in the book of Jubilees that Ham was given, a land that was very hot, right? So, once again, if these so-called Africans are not the real Hebrews, how is it that they're able to give evidence of their migrational route from Egypt to Cameroon, West Africa? Right? Because remember what I said in the beginning of the video, that one of the criteria is that no black person in the Americas or Caribbean or scattered anywhere across the planet can prove their Hebrew identity without tracing their roots back to Africa, right? And we have black people in the Americas, we have black people in the Caribbean, Jamaica, where I'm from, that can trace their ancestry back to Cameroon, Mali, Nigeria, and, other various countries in West Africa, okay? So my question again is, if these so-called Africans are not Hebrews, how is it that they're able to give evidence of their migrational route? Because it states here that, according to Frederick, the Bazas immigrated to Africa from Egypt thousands of years ago with their chief, Melech, who was the great-grandson of Judah, right? Son of Jacob. Okay? It states here that the Bazas went westward. They traveled south along the Nile, then eventually moving westward, crossing Nigeria. Then they entered Cameroon, right? So I'd like for anyone to give me the Jewish migrational route. And I'm talking about the Ashkenazi Jews, I don't want anyone to get the two mixed up. The real Israelites are not Jewish. The real Israelites are the Hebrews of the Bible. The real Hebrews of the Bible. Right? Because the Most High God of Israel did not call his people Jews or Jewish. He called his people Hebrew, Israelite, because we are descendants of Jacob, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Right? And the Most High names a bloodline after its progenitor. Right? So, if there's anyone out there that could give me evidence of the Ashkenazi Jewish migration route from the Middle East into Europe, into places like, if they migrated from the Middle East to Lithuania, Germany, Poland, please show me that evidence. Right? I'd like to see that evidence. Because they like to say, well, the Jews were kicked out of, different countries. Okay, they were kicked out of different countries. Right? But I want to know the migration route from Egypt or Israel into Europe, if the Ashkenazi Jews are the real people. Okay? Right. Now this is where I'll end the video, and I say shalom to the nation of Israel. All praises to the Most High Elohim of Israel. Well, I shouldn't say Elohim, but all praises to the Most High Ayah Ashar Ayah of the Bible, God of Abraham. I say peace to my brothers and sisters, to the nation of Israel, and to the strangers who have cleaved to the nation of Israel and come into the knowledge that the real people of Israel are the Negroes in Africa and scattered across the planet via the slave trade, via the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. Shalom and peace.